Good evening. It's January 30th, 2026. Just a quick update on what's been going on in the shop here. JWC Motorsports working on Plan 9. So I've got the Cusco LSD set up. I'm actually getting ready to um, set up the shims to work the backlight. So I'll be working on that sometime probably next week. It's not a high priority at this point. What is a priority is getting Plan 9. This is Plan 9. Those who don't know, it's a 2004 Subaru Impreza RS that is in a complete teardown, mostly complete teardown right now. The transmission, differential, the whole drivetrain's out. The engine, when I bought it, was out. I have a EJ255 turbo motor over here. This was picked up down in Twin Falls from my shop. There's parting out a Subaru Outback XT, 2006 Subaru Outback XT. So the priority is going to get the car out, start building, finish tearing this down, tearing down the transmission, which is over here. It's the manual transmission is in the car, a 411 gear ratio. Get that torn down, clean this up, torn down, check the bearings, check everything in there, the synchros, see how it's good, because I've never had the car running. Did put the engine back in to test it or anything, so I don't know how well it shifts or anything, but overall it doesn't look bad other than dirty. So the gentleman I got it from said it was fine, but check the synchros, check the bearings, replace anything in there that's necessary. Install the Cusco LSD in this as well. So it's going to get a front LSD just like Old Blue has. I've got the differential carrier or differential mount, new white line bushings pressed in. Everything was sandblasted, cleaned up, coated with Eastwood's rust converter and then Eastwood's chassis paint. So it's looking really sharp right now. These are the old brakes that I've pulled off. They're going to go in the scrap pile. The rubber lines, the brakes are pretty crusty. They're cheap enough and available pretty widely, so no use in keeping them, but I'm not going with this setup anyway. What's getting is a two piston rear and a 4-piston front, the big brakes, similar to it's actually what was on the 2006 Subaru WRX TR, the tuner ready one. The rear end, I've got most everything put together at this point. I have some old struts that I'm going to put in just to be able to have a suspension in here so I can put wheels on and roll it out. And that's the goal for early next week, if not this weekend. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get it this weekend, but get that in. I've got the white line adjustable control arms. This is the original trailing link that I welded in a brace, some flat steel right here on the back side to basically box this in, strengthen it up considerably. I've seen these get bent more on hits than anything else, but in Old Blue, I've done that, had no problems. The only thing in Old Blue, the original rear control arm, which would be this one that has the mount for the sway bar, or anti-sway bar here, bent, and it was on the other side, but it had a pretty good bend in it. Something popped with the suspension, the sway bars, and yeah, it really jammed that up. And that was with the white line 23 23-inch, 24-inch, the big one that was I got from a fellow racer. So let's take a look underneath the car. Last update was more on the top side and stuff that was done, but the mounts for subframe just need to clean this up, clean up the rust, whiz wheel that up, and then wipe it all down. Most of this is just some surface treatment, kind of like maybe a little bit of rust, anti-rust treatment, but it's got some of the rust damage from the battery that blew up. So, but overall, bottom side does not look bad. Obviously had axles blow up and blew grease all over, so this has got to all get degreased. But this is where the front subframe mounts, and then some additional stuff up here that I've got in a box on the back. I'll show for the subframe, the steering rack, and then be able to get the wheels on the front to be able to roll it out. So control arm mounts. We got front transmission mount area here, back transmission mount, which the transmission mount is on that table. So briefly, gear shift linkage. This is where the drive shaft, center carrier bearing mounts. We have cleaned up all the stuff under here. This is where the the differential mount outriggers mount here. There's a plate that comes down here, mounts on this side. The bolt goes through the outrigger, holds it up against the frame. Trilling links. This is all new hardware. New knuckle, new backing plates, all new bearings, seals, obviously. The new white lines. This subframe is original subframe. It was taken down, sandblasted, cleaned up, coated with the Eastwood rust converter as well, and then a couple coats of Eastwood chassis paint, which is really nice. This is a stock STI transmission or differential mount. So the back side of the differential, 2 bolts come through here. Differential sits right here. Axle's going out, pointing that way. So that carrier, the transmission carrier sits here. I've got all the exhaust shields out, so that's where some of these mounts are for here. Cleaned up the exhaust hangers. So back here, cleaned up a lot of the surface rust. Again, the body is in really good shape. Just a little bit of surface rust, nothing major. Just cleaned that up and then did a treatment with it. Got paint on it. Got some areas that I need to clean up a little bit. So the interesting, the things that were really rusty, like the exhaust hanger here, was really rusty, but nothing else in the area was that bad. A little bit of rust on the back trim panel. Over here, this is the side where I had this mount bolt on the original. Broke off after about 3 turns, snapped completely off. So I had to drill into the side on the other side, drill in there, and put a adapter plate that I got from a template on Send Cut Send. Bennett had a threaded insert put on there, and then was able to mount it up with original style hardware. White line anti-sway bar mounts to go with the whole white line suspension setup that I'm going with. Bushings, obviously the white line control arms, so it's got a white line anti-sway bar as well, and just the links and everything, so it's all white line. Also the white line subframe lockdown, which just locks the subframe in this position so it doesn't actually move at all. So no side to side, no front to back, which these bolts, they're slop. So this just locks it down and holds it in position, stiffens up the back considerably. So did something similar with Old Blue, but unfortunately this bolt broke loose. So I had to cut a hole in the upper body and then weld that bolt. Basically, get it to weld the nut in, get the bolt tight, and then a little bit more weld on there. So it's kind of a permanent structure at this point on Blue. So, but need to get these adjusted and everything, but that'll happen later. Can adjust camber as well as toe. So pulling one side in and out will adjust toe. It's also got the stock toe setting, which will be push this in or out. But you can adjust this whole thing to push it out a little bit more to get a little bit more tilt for camber. So I need to install the hub. Install the hub still there, but I might do that still this evening. I'm not sure if I will. It's getting late. It's after 8 o'clock here in Idaho. So, but this is the transmission mount. These are actually the back toe points, tie down points. Those I cleaned up. See, the chassis paint's actually not too bad. So this original parts cleaned up, sandblasted, used some of the rust converter as well as chassis paint on it. So finishing putting that together. These are spark plugs from our customer's vehicle. Picked that up today. Those were 2013 Volvo XC60 T6 turbo all-wheel drive. So, but anyway, I have since the last update, I have pulled out the brakes, so that I pulled the brake calipers off, but all the brake lines, these are just the front two brake lines. The rear brake lines are here, but all the master cylinder, the booster, the brake lines that came over where the ABS controller was at over here, that's all been taken out. It's going to get the same kind of setup that I did on Old Blue, which will be an STI booster with an STI master cylinder, Willwood bias adjustment, and then two lines will go down directly off that to the front brakes, and then it'll come off over to a splitter. We'll take off this bias valve, we'll go to a splitter, and then basically the two back brakes will be on one line, the front brakes will be independent. But what that does is create true front and rear biasing, where the brake controller, the ABS controller, you look at this, this is the controller, and the way it's set up, so you had front left, front right, right rear, right left. And that's basically what it did was it created a cross pattern. So you have left and right, front left, rear right, front right, rear left. So you would have a crossing braking. So if you were to have a lockup condition, it would lock up in a diagonal. So if your front left would lock up, right rear would lock up, and it'd keep the car from spinning, basically. So what happens if you, in a front to rear bias, if the back brakes lock up, you can get into a spin. The same way if your front brakes lock up. But this would help to avoid the car getting out of control that way. great street driving, great, overall. But in driving with racing that I do, want to actually try to use the brakes to help rotate the car. So if I have the bias adjusted, which I did with blue, adjusted the bias a little bit more to the rear, that I can get the back end to, when I hit the brakes, to lock up to get the car to rotate the front in the direction I want it to go. So it helps to get the car a little bit quicker rotation, get a little bit quicker on the turn. A little bit too much bias, it locked up too quick and completely spun me. I had to back it off. Had to happen the first or second event of the year, and yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, but I knew exactly what I did. Backed it off like a half a turn or full turn, and everything is golden after that. So it's an ABS brake controller. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, trying to get everything taken care of, get Plan 9 on its feet, and get it ready to push out onto the trailer. Sitting here as it'll sit when I get all the components put back in will probably be in the, let's see, 2200, yeah, somewhere around 2000, maybe 2200 pounds, because originally it sat with all the interior set in, all the drivetrain, everything but the engine. It was sitting at 2490, 2,490 pounds. So now it doesn't have the transmission, which is around 150 or so pounds. It doesn't have the differential, which is only around 50 pounds. It doesn't have the front and rear original bumpers on, which were considerable. They were probably around 50 pounds or so each. Bumper covers and stuff are up there. The fenders are in the back seat. These are the new Subaru seats. I do have the NRG quick release steering wheel set up. I got to do the wiring for the horn, but it's pretty much ready to go. Reattach the trim cover. We set in the gear shift and shift linkage, white line bushings, cartboy short shifter, rim speed, Berlin flip knob. I do have a new boot I got from Subaru. The old rubber boot was pretty ripped up, so a new one of those to go in. So I have that set up. Right now, I pulled out the AC, so this is all tore up. We'll put this back together. Do want to have at least have heat in here. So there's the back, or there's the ducting and everything. Do have to kind of fix some of this. It broke when I was pulling it out, but that happens. So the hood scoop for the it'll be a top mounted intercooler. I'm not going to do a front mount. Not now anyway, maybe down the road if this car does well and I want to make it better. It's already going to be, I hope, a lot better than it came out of the factory as. 9 Lives big wing for it, which I got to get this cleaned up, pulled off the old wing. It was pretty cruddy over here. Bolts, it had sheet metal screws. It had the original bolts. It was in pretty rough shape. So I got to clean this up, see what I need to possibly abate any rust, and then whatever I need to support for doing the big wing. We'll be taking out the regular attachment and on quick disconnects for the trunk to release it. Do have all the new wheels and tires. So some Bridgestone Potenzas, the RSs, the last year's, and the RZs. for this year's. I do have a new set of each, 245, 45, 17, I believe. And then the method, it didn't get the ones that I have on blue. They're not making those anymore. So these are the rally wheels, the 501s. They're the same ones that I have on the STI 17, STI 17. And then there's the new bumpers. These things are so light, price bars rather. This is the rear, so I was going to put that on as part of getting this ready to go back. But 245 40 17, not 45. So new headlights for blue. There's the tires. The brakes and front end. The brakes, the knuckles, the bearings, the seals, and everything. So just going to try to get those set up, ready to go. This is the STI steering rack, and this is the new front cross member that is for the turbo engine setup. So, and then have most of the new hardware to do that as well. So, but all right, I think we're going to end it here. Thanks for coming along, and I do appreciate the likes, and hope you like what's going on with this 2004 Subaru. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.